I'd like to welcome in now Director of Communications for the Ukrainian Congress Committee of America, Andrij Dobriansky. Andrij, thank you so much for your time today. Let's start with the newest news on all this. How do you interpret what we are now seeing and hearing from President Zelenskyy?
President Zelenskyy is reemphasizing exactly what was on the table, what has been worked out with Ukrainian and American negotiators back last week, which is a deal that's ready to go. Unfortunately, for some of the voices coming out of Washington trying to blame President Zelenskyy for not signing, not giving in to the largesse of the United States for doing this, he was told by Marco Rubio at the direction of the president to leave the White House. You can't really sign a document if you're being told to leave. So I think it's on the United States to figure out how to invite him to, like he said, any facility that's convenient for them. So that doesn't have to happen at the White House. That doesn't have to happen even in America. It could happen at a summit in the UK or Europe or what have you. But Ukrainians have been ready. Ukrainians were the ones who are pushing for this deal, and it is simply for the United States and its leadership not to blow up and have a kerfuffle like they had on Friday and potentially not only insult the Ukrainian people, and plenty of Ukrainian people were insulted by the words and actions of American leadership, but also our allies.
How are Ukrainian people? And I know it's hard to, necessarily sum up because I'm sure opinions vary, but kind of what was the reaction to what we saw happen there Friday?
This happened just after the third anniversary of the war. So if you were at any of those ceremonies around the country, candlelight vigils, you were thinking about the deaths that are happening on a regular occasion. Just yesterday, 100 drones were launched against Ukraine. Children died. When President Zelenskyy arrived at the White House, he heard the news that 40 additional children had been identified as being stolen out of the country. And a week before then, the Special Commission of the UN High Commissioner on Human Rights verified a report that came out stating that Ukrainians are being filtered into camps. I just want to remind everybody what we agreed at Nuremberg would never happen again. They're being filtered into camps, stripped naked, kept in rooms, stuffed into showers, and when they're in showers, they are tasered with cattle prods. This is the reality of what Ukrainians deal with on an everyday basis, not the words of a vice president who doesn't even have the dignity of visiting the country, even though every single Ukrainian has invited the leadership of the United States to visit. I think that's really the next step for President Trump would be to visit Ukraine to see with his own eyes what he's talking about.
Well, speaking of President Trump, do you think that this shift in messaging, or at least this new messaging that we're seeing from Zelenskyy, do you think it's going to be enough to get President Trump to make some type of deal?
I think we heard, even in the immediate aftermath of the president's behavior in the Oval Office, the fact that he was still ready to sign a deal. It is simply that they escorted or they asked the delegation from Ukraine to leave the White House, which has never happened. I want to underscore that as a breach of protocol and something that I would say that Ukrainian Americans will definitely remember as presidents who invite the leadership of Ukraine and those who ask them to leave. So if the president is ready to be in the same room as President Zelenskyy, I'm sure that they both can sign a piece of paper, have that handshake, have that legacy for President Trump, who may not get Greenland, he may not get a Panama Canal, but he can surely agree with Ukraine on this vast mineral deposit that will secure America's future for the next half century at the very least.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.